Bullet, or you Welcome everyone to a trip down Stoner Drive. I am your host Shag Bullet, or you can call me Shaggy. Zoinks! And this is a platform to tell people stories about how cannabis has positively or maybe even negatively affected their lives. I don't care if you're a patient, a brand, a distribution, an athlete, a politician. If you have a story to tell, I want to hear it. So hopefully this gives you an educating and entertaining look behind the scenes of the booming cannabis industry. And if you like my videos, please give a like and subscribe to my YouTube. Would you look at that? Would you just look at that view? It is a beautiful day here in San Diego, and we are at Mission Bay. But you're not here for a view. No, you're here for a podcast.
Yeah.
So welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Shag Wellen, or you can call me Shaggy, and this is a trip down Stoner Drive. Today, I'm so excited because I have my guest, my good friend as well, Eric Neilson, who is a San Diego musician. He runs open mics. I've seen at the Template, at Tin Roof. He helps with Moonshine Beach and just so much more. So if you're in the local San Diego music industry or group, this is a man you need to know. So Eric, thank you so much for being a part of the show, bro.
Thanks for the invite. I'm really excited how quick this happened.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I try to make things happen. And what's great about being the RV is anytime, anywhere, if the schedules work out, I can interview somebody. So if I have to drive to them, if they can come meet me, wherever it is, we can shoot a podcast anywhere. So it's great.
Love it. Yeah.
Including beautiful Mission Bay.
Yeah, so. It's looking great. It's nice and cool out. Got our coffee.
Exactly. So we're going to spark up in a second. We are doing a morning show, which I'll release a little bit later. But what's awesome is it's almost 8:20 here. It is going to be 4:20 in the Madeira Islands, which is just off Portugal. And so the word for pot there was, shoot, I just said it. Was it Makona? Makona. So we're about to spark up some Makona. Right now we got some joints today since it's an easy morning. I got the Grizzly Peak Green Lantern joints, and then we also have the Sluggers doing the New York Diesel to start it off. So appreciate you joining me, brother.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
get it going.
How does it taste?
So tasty. It definitely has the sour diesel, but then it's got a little sweetness as well. Well, so Eric, you are the man to know about the music industry. And how long are you from San Diego, or did you move here?
I moved here back in 2015. I'm actually from New Hampshire.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Both East Coast guys.
Yeah.
Right? So we understand how great it is and how lucky we are to be out here.
Yeah, definitely very fortunate for, the opportunity I had. I joined the military. I was in the Navy. Was actually pursuing a career in music production. I was going to school at the University of New Haven in Connecticut, and was in their music and sound recording program.
I really like that. And you just recently graduated. Was your degree in that, or what did you switched over?
No, I had a huge change in career path. Through the Navy, I learned a lot of the tech stuff for audio equipment, video equipment, and stuff like that. So I got all that stuff down, that tech stuff I was initially going to school for. And I'm like, what is one thing as a musician that I don't know how to do? I don't know how to promote myself. I don't know how to do the marketing behind it. So tapped into my VA benefits. Here you go. I'm sitting on that. Tapped into my VA benefits and enrolled at San Diego State for their integrated marketing program.
That was awesome, man. And it's good to know both sides because we've tried to put on that before, and marketing is a big part of it, along with, of course, like little loopholes, licenses, things like that. But how do you like it? And how do you feel after you just graduated, man? Finally done. Like since I've known you, you've always had classes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Everything you're doing. So.
Yeah. Well, it feels kind of weird, but it's also like relieving to not have to be like, I have to go write this paper, or I have to go go to class or whatever. The last semester, the last semester was all remote.
Really?
Yeah, so it felt like it was like a kind of a natural progression for me to kind of get out of class. Like I was in a marketing internship that I got last minute. Maybe I'll talk about that later, but I worked at a recording studio with Capricorn Studio, and I was basically their marketing manager. So I was trying to take all of the experience I had gotten from my digital marketing classes. I was in a small business consulting class, and I was trying to like cut my teeth and like write plans and like do the research and come up with the strategy that works for the studio, and did a bunch of video content because I'm an audio engineer, videographer. So I was using those skills in that facet and helped the studio create their YouTube channel.
Dude, that is incredible.
Yeah. So I'm finishing up the editing of that the last month, which has been a lot of content. So that's going to be ending this week, which I'm really stoked about. And we're going to start planning the release of all that stuff. It's going to be super cool.
Heck yeah. And what separates, or actually with Capricorn, I want to just ask you a few questions. What type of music? Do they do any type of music there? Do they specialize in certain artists? If anybody's like watching and wants to.
They do a wide array of music. Both the engineers that work there, John and Chris, they know multiple instruments, and they've played in different projects over the last 20 years. So they have a wide understanding of various musical genres. They've got hip hop artists, the local band Half Hour Late, which they are recording there. They recorded their record there. They're having an album release party next Sunday. I'm pretty stoked about that.
That is awesome.
And then like people like Shane Hall, so blues. That was a local blues guy, and Slightly Stupid.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, Rimo, their drummer. He's been working out of that studio for a hot minute. So
nice. Is he doing a little solo stuff or just fun?
I think he was recording like a master class or something like that for drumming.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Love when people like love their craft and just want to expand into it more. So
yeah.
And so what other so you're there, what other spots are you at right now currently? Because I've seen you bounce around to quite a few, but everybody's needed.
Well, I like you mentioned earlier, I worked at Tin Roof. Tin Roof is no longer. They up and closed about 6 to 7 months ago. But I work at Moonshine Flats Beach, the one in PB, and Happy Does, which is they're all owned by Good Time Design. And it's been great to learn from some really cool audio engineers, and I've picked up lighting design at those venues too. So I'm like adding to my production experience, which is pretty cool, all while I run and build up my own YouTube channel and business.
So let's get into that a little bit. What is your YouTube channel, or what do you focus on?
So the YouTube channel is called Dharmaden Sessions, DHARMADEN, Dharmaden. And it was a project that started during COVID, during 2020. Everything was closed, as you know, except for the cannabis shops.
Yep. Essential workers.
Essential. All the music venues were closed too, and I was attending a lot of open mics, like you were saying, as a musician, and all those people didn't have a place to express themselves. So I had a really cool living room, and I soundproofed that living room during my time there, living there, and I had the video experience. Rachel, my girlfriend at the time, she had the audio experience, so we split those duties in half, and we started recording NPR Tiny Desk type videos.
2 seconds, just going to turn down the fans a little bit. Just not picking up as much audio.
But yeah, so So we started editing like NPR Tiny Desk type videos for artists, and we kind of treated it like a virtual music venue. And then that's kind of like grown over time, where I have been booking like for the template open mic,
Yeah.
Dharma Den. I would basically book artists in the community that are like full-time musicians, and they'd come and be the featured artist for the open mic. And then during that, I would record the video and audio and then feature that open mic on the channel. So then it started giving me the idea. I'm like, there are so many different places to go see music and different types of music. And there are just so many different pockets within the community itself. I'm like, I want to start shedding a light on all of them and like showing people everything San Diego has to offer, because there's so much talent here. It's comparable to LA.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say we have all the good parts of LA without the crazy traffic and like also the intensity. Everybody comes down and they're just like, man, I love San Diego. You guys are just so happy, relaxed. And but the music scene, like you're saying, is incredible.
Mm-hmm. So like OB is like a huge, big like music hub. You know, they've got the music company, they've got Winston's. The Harp is now doing jams on Wednesdays, which is pretty sweet. Which we were talking about Slightly Stupid earlier.
Yeah.
One of the Slightly Stupid members, he actually bought the Harp.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
stoners that like Slightly Stupid.
And
The Harp.
For anybody that didn't know, they're local OB. Like they are, you can see them multiple times a year. I actually caught them at Moonshine, funny enough, on a random Tuesday one day. It was like $20. Like everybody, I was working, and everybody's just like Slightly Stupid's playing down in here, and we're like, no way, go $20. It was just such a small, cool little show.
Yeah.
It's just spontaneous.
Yeah, and one of the big amazing things through this experience is after COVID, the whole mentality that I kind of saw throughout the communities I was in is that instead of like trying to be about like promoting themselves, which people still do, they're their own musicians and acts and stuff, but more people were thinking, oh, we need community because we lacked it so much during COVID. So there are a lot of things that are basically music events that are like more community minded, you know, like for example, Writers Round that happens every Monday at the Old Sod right now.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a it's the second edition of the theme Writers Round, which initially started in LA by this guy Greg and Company.
Gotcha.
And then Ben Grace, he knew him and asked to start a chapter down here in San Diego. So we became the second one. I would start attending that because it was a Monday.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on as a musician. I'm like, I want to go to this to play. And it basically 3 artists are on stage at once, and they each take a turn playing a song.
Oh.
And they can tell the story behind it. And once all 3 of them play, then I go back and play one more song. And then we have a featured round that does the same thing. 3 featured artists, and they play 3 songs instead of 2. And then we pull names from a hat for 3 more.
I really like that.
Yeah, so it's a really cool format, and I started going to it often. And I hit up Ben, and he was moving up to Portland. And I talked about, hey, I could do the sound for it, and I can help run it with Lauren Lee, who's an amazing singer-songwriter here in the community. And yeah, it just there are a lot of things like those where it's like we've kind of established this like listening room for musicians. Like, so in the room, everyone's there for the music. If they want to network and socialize, we have the front bar in the Old Sod or the outside patio. Yeah. So it's like a cool like dichotomy of enjoyment and respect for the artist, and then the networking and the community in the back.
And I love it. I've been to a few of your events, and I've also seen is they are looking for that community because you'll see a couple artists, they'll need like a drummer or so, and I've seen like one guy play with like 3 different artists because they're like, hey, I really liked what you did. Do you mind hopping in the back? I think that would be nice. Like, I've been needing this sound I haven't found anybody that could just hop on and do it or provide that one that I was thinking of. Sometimes they're like, that's exactly the missing piece I was looking for.
Yeah.
And so your events provide that.
Yeah. And what's kind of cool with what I'm trying to do with Darmaden, with all of like the really good YouTube channels that like promote up and coming music.
Absolutely.
You know, I think of there's first off was So Far Sounds, right? I've like was a follower of them back in college when I first got out of high school. And then there are things like Mahogany. I don't know if you've seen these, or Colors. Really cool like YouTube channels that I really looked up to as a videographer and like a film guy, you know. I wanted to be able to start bringing, now that I'm out of school, I've been kind of like working on building a business model around what I'm going to provide. And part of that is like an intimate house show listening room experience where I can bring the local music to you. And like I'm working out, there are a couple people that I know that host house shows. So I would like to start like networking with people that host and build the local network of houses that are willing to host. And then what I do is I come in and bring in the set design.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be doing the video for the YouTube, right? Have the set design. And then because it's a private residence, this is where the gray area in cannabis law and state law kicks in, and want to do for friendly events.
And that's why I want, it's a great transition, because for a long time we were trying to create that at the template and a few others, and then, you know, laws, and it's that weird market of events. Luckily also Vista is passing it. So there's going to be a lot more events happening in Vista. So if you know people with houses, things like that, you can get a lot more events approval out there.
That's awesome.
So
cool.
That is really cool that they're doing that. But yeah, where do you see, I mean, obviously music, cannabis, it's been together since Grateful Dave. I mean, way before that, but Grateful Dead is known for Ken Dog, and there's so many artists that are coming out, Jay-Z with The Chronic, and it's just so great. Because how do you feel that cannabis helps you when you're doing music or with other people?
It kind of, I am an overthinker.
Yeah.
Like normally. For cannabis, for me, it helps slow that logical, rational brain that's always going on to basically quiet the mind, so that way you can just feel the presence of the other musicians.
It feels like good time sparking of it.
Hell yeah, let's go. But yeah, basically, it helps break that down, so that way you can just vibe with the other musicians and start, you know, learning and communicating with them through your instrument.
And yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. It's just, and I feel like it allows you to feel the music more. And like you're saying, instead of overthinking it, so instead of being like, if I'm on beat or so, you're stoned, you're just like, I don't even care. And then your body just naturally goes with the tone as well.
Yeah.
So if you can't dance, smoke a little bit, and then just let your body just flow with the beat. And most of the time.
That's me as a musician. I love getting into that. It's basically, they describe it like John Coltrane described it as a flow state.
I like that.
Yeah. So, it's basically like, you know, my form of meditation, my daily meditation, practicing, getting into that focus where you're just listening to the metronome, and then you're working on whatever riff you're working on or song you're trying to cover.
And it just makes no sense that it's not. So the State Fair of Sacramento is actually going to be the first one to allow cannabis consumption. So there will be music and cannabis and stuff like that, but they're probably going to limit to you just like beer. But that's the thing I don't get, is like concerts, everybody's smoking, regardless what concert you're at, regardless what state you're in. Like I was in Virginia, and if you're at a Snoop Dogg, Iration, anything like that, everybody's blazing, and nobody is stopping them. Nobody's really caring. So I think it's just a matter of time, but they just need to realize, and I think the alcohol would go down as well. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just solved it right there.
Yeah, but there's the other aspect of it too, is if you look at cannabis law and how the marketing, like the state marketing regulations on cannabis, you can't advertise to in places that have what was it? It needs to have at least 75% audience over 21, which is why you usually see them on billboards, because usually people with that drive, the majority of people that are going to see that are over 21.
Yeah.
Right. So concerts bring in, depending on the artist, bring in all the different age groups.
That makes sense. But maybe you could start doing, I mean, they have 21 plus clubs, so maybe you could do certain concerts, be like, or sections.
Or like some of the VIP boxes.
Yeah.
You know?
True. Start making an exclusive thing at first.
Yeah.
Just to ease its way in.
Yeah. Or like a designated lounge area with, like, they have little smoking areas at amusement parks where people can smoke their cigarettes.
Absolutely. Sorry, just blinked out a little bit.
That's a good weed, right?
Right, exactly. So when you're working at events or somebody's trying to get into the music scene, are there any spots or open mics you'd recommend or ways they kind of embrace it?
It's kind of funny you asked me that question, because I've actually been working on a whole series of like articles on the San Diego music scene, and part of that is like kind of showing like wherever you are on the skill level in the community, where do you go based on that?
I think that's a great idea. And also the type of music, there's open mics that's like, hey, like this is a great open mic, but this isn't the type of genre your crowd's more like here on these nights. That might help. And I think that also might help grow the YouTube is do little shorts that would just be like a highlight of what open mics and things like that.
Thank you for that idea. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's the other thing that I'm trying to do is like, do clips here, clips there, and trying to be like, want to write a series. And I know a few people at the Troubadour. Nice. And they write the San Diego Troubadour, where they write about music. I could see if I could write an editorial series. I could help write content for theirs.
That'd be absolutely great because there are so many people that constantly move here that are trying to get in the music scene and then just get a little discouraged because they just don't know where to go or where to start.
So to answer your question, if people are just getting started in this music scene, they want to try out some new songs, Writers Round is definitely a good, like, inclusive environment. They we have a huge range of talent that comes to that, which is really cool to see. And then the people that keep coming back, the growth, and they keep writing, and that's inspiring. So that's cool. And then Jeremy Miller and Crystal Dyer run some badass open mics.
I love them, by the way. I've done their open mics. And I'm not a musician. I do it for fun, but they are so welcoming. It's absolutely incredible. Crystal, I don't have any paintings here, but I have so many paintings from her, and she actually paints while people are performing. So any open mic, she'll just feel inspiration. She'll just go up and just start painting live. And absolutely incredible to them. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
I love them. And they're at the local, right? Or
they're at the local on Sundays, and then on Thursdays they're at the Collective, which is this new bar that's right near Moonshine Beach,
right next to Tap Room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's actually associated. The Tap Room. So every Thursdays, that's cool. I did my most recent season of my local music series, Tuned Up.
Mm-hmm.
I did that at the Collective, so I'm like editing that, and I'm like, what's really cool about how this whole thing's grown, it started in my living room, and then I've worked with a couple of different venues, tried out a different format, and now all the work that I've been doing, I interned at the studio. Now, like, in exchange for like basically time, like my videographer services and stuff, they're going to be helping Darmaden mix the audio from the stuff that I record. So it's the quality of the audio is going to like improve in the next season that I release on YouTube. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to start getting into these like articles and stuff like that, because I want to help educate. And like, I do the sound at Writers Round on Mondays, and I want to start incorporating like workshops, and then I'm like offering like monthly record nights. Like, so I'll be there to record, and then I'm gonna archive that up on one of the playlists on my YouTube channel.
Love that.
Yeah, so just trying to expand and work with other venues, and this Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. I try to stick to sativas during the day, like most of the day, and then like 7, 8 o'clock, I'll switch to my indicas. But if I can and I have a good amount of it, I love my sativas. And both of these guys have burned even all the way down, no clogging. Really good job, guys. So Grizzly Peak and Sluggers, fantastic. So, um, who would be some people you, or if everything took off, who would be some people that you'd want to work with or potentially partner up, or where would you see Darmadang growing at its peak?
Growing at its peak, well, this is the long-term vision is to open up a cannabis cafe music venue. Yeah, I think it's time for something like that. Like all right now, all of our music venues are alcohol centric,
Yeah,
right? And we know like the effects of overconsumption of alcohol and how and things that
absolutely.
what if we had a spot like that that could be cannabis normalized,
Yeah,
like
a healthier spot that people
yeah
can go to.
yeah. So I'm like, with the community mindedness that I have right now, like I really think a a venue that top-notch local acts come through, and then it picks up the reputation picks up the word of like more bigger artists and stuff, and they come
Yeah,
through. um Cannabis, have it be cannabis centric, and then you have like drinks, like you're able to sell food. Hopefully this legislation gets passed in
yes,
California.
it's insane. Like
Newsom vetoed that shit, and I'm
people
like,
don't realize that a bill, so we could just sell like waters and like snacks, have a vending machine, anything like that to provide to guests. Like we cannot sell bottles of water to our guests right now, which is wild.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just insane. It's like we can only sell cannabis and then cannabis accessories, and that's it. And so it's like, come on, sometimes people just need a normal drink to go with their like edibles and stuff. They just need something to quench their thirst instead of taking more THC to kind of balance it. So
Yeah. So if you're going to have a lounge area, you need to be able to sell non-medicated food and drink.
exactly.
And in the most recent assembly bill, um, it would allow for live entertainment at cannabis lounges. So that would like lay the framework of the space that I want to get into with Darmaden. And then during the day, it would be more community events.
Exactly.
So like meetups, networking groups, workshops, type of things with different organizations. I'm a veteran, so I'd like to like get involved with the veterans that have seen benefits from using
Oh,
cannabis and stuff
absolutely.
like that. So I want to get
Speaking of, I do have Colin Wells from Barron's Walk and Talk is going to be a guest on my show coming up in July. We're still trying to figure out the exact date, but that's a hiking group that you can smoke cannabis and hike together, and it's very
I've actually been on some of the hikes. Yeah, Colin's awesome, and I really respect what he's doing.
Great words as he says, cannabis is the ultimate unifier, and I think with music and cannabis,
you pass the joint with the musicians, you start jamming.
Exactly.
It's a unifying factor, 100%.
Heck yeah. So we are going to start wrapping it up a little bit soon, but I do want to get people to know about you a little bit.
Sure.
Also, since the Cannabis Lounge and stuff, once it passes, Sessions by the Bay is opening up in the fall. It's the first Cannabis Lounge in San Diego.
I'm stoked. I've been following it closely.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it kept getting pushed back, but it's looking fall is the official date. They're in construction. Everything's looking good. So I'm excited.
Let's go. We got to go.
Lounge, and also they're going to have an area just for podcasts, a room just for podcasts. So I'm trying to work with them. And then, live entertainment once it's available. I think you'd be a perfect person to just bring them guests, the musicians, provide the opportunity, and you can show what you've done before. So
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming up, and they're the first one, but hopefully they're not going to be the last one. Hopefully it's going to be a bunch popping up.
We'll let the market do its thing,
Exactly.
create competition and all that stuff. So
I'm excited. But all right, so I'm gonna ask you about 5 or 6 quick questions.
Sure, let's go.
If I ask you movie or music, it doesn't have to be cannabis related. It could just be what you like when you're stoned or high.
Okay.
So what is your favorite way to consume?
I like to smoke spliffs.
Spliss.
Yeah,
Okay.
but now I'm not smoking tobacco.
Okay. What are you putting in then?
So now I just basically have switched to live resin, just because as a singer I'm trying to like improve my vocal health.
Yeah.
So I've been getting rid of that, and special occasions I'll like do it, with a homie I haven't seen in a while, and he has the tobacco and I'm like, I got the weed, like
Let's do it.
yeah. So like I make those exceptions, but live resin right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite strain?
I really like a good indica. So if you can select, I had a blueberry cream one that was like, I think that was amber or something like that.
Yeah, I like a lot of stuff from Ember. For me, their Sweet Jack is incredible. Sorry, we got to guest star making a little noise. What is a food or snack you like? A little cheap food when you're stoned?
There are these like the nerd ropes.
Yeah.
They have the little pieces now.
Oh, okay. Little bite-sized nerd ropes.
Yeah, and I'll go through that bag real quick.
Yeah, hey, we all got a little bites on us. What is a movie or show that you like to watch?
I really liked this series Sinner.
Okay.
It's
I've seen it. It's like 3 different
seasons, and each one is a character, and it's like a crime scene, a mystery,
and then you gotta figure out why it happened. It's
psychological. And the main character, the investigator, he's like a really like good like actor, and the script for him is like really good, and so
I love it. Yeah, if you haven't checked out the first episode, it starts off with this girl just hearing a song, and she runs, grabs a knife, and then stabs a random guy on the beach that she doesn't know, but just doesn't remember because of psychological trauma. So,
and then it grows from there.
It's absolutely insane. Like, usually I can solve things and be like, oh, this is how the show's gonna go. That blew my mind. So I love that show. What is music or a favorite artist you like to listen to?
Right now I have 2 that are equal. One is Theo Katzman.
Heck yeah.
And 2 is Jordan Rakai.
Okay.
They're 2 different but amazing songwriters. They've got great vocal range. They're multi-instrumentalists. That's
nice.
Yeah.
All right. So you've watched that 70s show?
Of course.
Okay. So you're sitting downstairs in the basement. You have 3 people in your circle with you.
Okay.
To smoke with. Who are the 3 people, dead or alive?
Can be dead anybody. Or alive. I would
can be famous, family, anybody.
I would want to smoke a passage joint with. One would be Jeff Buckley. 2 would be Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
And then the third one would probably be somebody more like, it'd be cool to talk to one of my ancestors.
Okay.
Like I'm related to Sir Francis Bacon.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have his like literature and stuff, and I'm like, I'd really love to pick his brain in a modern context, What does he think about cannabis?
Right.
Did you smoke weed?
It was back
Come on, give me the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be incredible, man. And then last question is, do you have a funny story of either buying, selling, smoking weed that just comes to mind?
Yeah, there was one time. So the buddy that I first smoked with, his name's Al Francis. He played drums. He loves the Beatles. He had a little basement studio at his place where in my hometown in New Hampshire. And we played at a talent show at the Milford Pumpkin Festival, and we played together on one of the songs, and it was really cool. And then we started jamming. He found out that I smoked weed, and then he invited me over, and we jammed, and he had this whole pound of shake, and he would just pack a bunch of bong rips full of it, and we would just fucking do bong rips. And then he would get on the drums, and I brought my guitar. He set up a monitor. We started playing, and I'm like, oh, dude, that was crazy experience. Yeah.
Dude, I love that. Well, I appreciate you so much being on the show. Can you tell people where to find you? Any events or things coming up?
Yeah. So best way to find me is follow my personal Instagram, Eric, ERIC Neilson, Neilson, and Dharma Den Sessions. I'll be posting the next season of videos on there. And yeah, I have some music coming out on Friday, some videos with the local PB recording studio, the music company. I have one of my beach break sessions coming out on Friday, so go check that out. Yeah,
dude, I appreciate it again, man. This has been a great episode, and I'm excited just to see everything grow, brother, especially Darwin.
Yeah, and let's chat about the like doing a shag wheeling.
Oh yeah, so let's get some collab going. I'm
go.
down. Well, I appreciate brother, and this has been a great episode. Make sure you check out all the other videos, like, share, subscribe, and this has been a trip down Stoner Drive.